On today's show,
Ty, the middle child, he always said growing up, like, he was going to be the reason that I would make it to this level, and he still takes credit for it, but I think there is truth behind it in that he challenged me in every way. He never took it easy on me. My oldest brother, he was a little nicer to me, but yeah.
Picking things right back up for another episode of The Chatter, Kansas Sports Chatter, a statewide high school sports entertainment show streaming on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. My name is Cole Rive. Thanks for joining us here on the show. Let's get right to it. We talk high school sports, and we're going to talk it with these folks. Ben DeVader, he is a member of the St. Mary's High School boys basketball team. He will have our leadoff question. Andy Brown, Acacia coverage staff writer. He was able to cover a thriller of a game between Olathe North and Shawnee Mission South earlier this year for boys basketball. We'll talk about that game. Also, other teams on the eastern part of the state that have caught his eye. Kelly Heincker, he is the Derby wrestling coach. He'll be with us for our quality time interview. Gary Davis, another member of the Kansas Shrine Bowl Hall of Fame induction class of 2026. Longtime sports official in the States. We'll talk about his career. Liam Keating, he is a reporter for the Topeka Capital Journal. We'll talk about some Topeka area schools that have done well so far as they get ready for crunch time. And then Taryn Sides, member of the Kansas State University women's basketball team, and from Phillipsburg High School, will be our next level talents at the end of the show. Let's get things rolling with today's leadoff question. It's today's leadoff question with Ben DeVader, member of the St. Mary's High School basketball team. Ben, your question today, what advice would you give any freshmen entering varsity sports?
I personally started off with just continue working hard, whatever sport you're in, whether it's on the field, in the gym. Just remember your hard work is what got you to where you're at. A coach ain't just going to put you on varsity for no reason. There's a reason why you're there. Second thing is I would say patience and just stay ready. I remember my freshman year, we were playing against Rossville at Rossville. It was a big game. Crowd was filled. We were down like 15 in the second quarter. Coach puts me in. I hit a big three. Just starts the momentum for the team, and that just got my confidence up and everything. The funny thing is, the next possession, I guess I passed up an open three, and he took me out right away. But no, yeah, things I would say is patience, stay ready, hard work, and just stay confident. But yeah,
when did that advice kind of? Oh, I'm sorry, but when did that advice kind of settle in for you? Like, when did that kind of make sense for you in your career?
It really started sophomore year. I've always really, for basketball especially, I've always been in the gym. The gym is just a place I love. But patience and just staying ready. My coach, he's Will Spradling. He's one of the top coaches in the state for sure. I'm so glad that I get to be coached by him every day. He always told me, stay patient, stay ready. You're going to get in, especially my freshman year. And sophomore year, there was a chance I probably wouldn't start, but at the beginning of the season, and he always told me, stay patient, stay ready. And I did, and I led on to have like a good sophomore season, averaging like 12, I think, something like that. But ended up like mid-season, got back to the starting position, and yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, ever since then, I just try to stay confident.
Nice. Did any upperclassmen reach out to you at that time?
Sophomore season, we really only had one senior, and he was a good leader. He was good. He was kind of like a defensive player, I guess. But no, he kept my head up. Freshman year, I think we had 4 seniors on that team, and practices were just great. Like, they always kept it fun, I don't know, you kept your head straight and all that stuff. But yeah.
Do you reach out to the freshmen now, like as an upperclassman, or do you wait for them to kind of come to you? Like, what's your kind of approach to the freshmen now?
I just really see what their body language is. If I believe they need it, then I'll say something. If see them struggling, if I can tell they don't have confidence or anything, just try to bring them up. But other than that, I do have a lot of freshmen. They come and ask. We don't really have a lot of freshmen in our class playing like sports and stuff, but some of them do come up and ask just questions, and I try to give them the best answer I can.
That has been DeVader, member of the St. Mary's basketball team, with today's leadoff question. Shout out to Ben DeVader of St. Mary's High School coming on for our leadoff question and some good advice for underclassmen, and he is one to definitely listen to. Thanks to our sponsors today, Meyers Enterprises. Stand out from the noise. Grow your business. Schedule a free consultation with Meyers Enterprises. SPX LED video walls. They build and install LED video walls for indoor environments such as high school gyms. Wheatland Electric, owned by the people they serve, with more than 32,000 meters in the state of Kansas. Barton Community College, always enrolling. Visit them at bartoncccc.edu. And Eastus Media, the voice of the Pratt High Greenbacks. They got play-by-play broadcasts, multicam live streams, and local products, and a whole lot more. You got to find out what they can do for you and your media requests with Eastus Media. We'll take a break. When we come back, Andy Brown. He's one of the staff writers for KSHSAA Covered. We'll talk about some teams out on the eastern part of the state that have caught his eye and are really shining brightly right now as we get close to the postseason. KSHSAA Covered staff writer Andy Brown is next. Here's a hard truth. If your business isn't using AI in its marketing, you've already fallen behind. But there's an advertising agency in Kansas that can get you back up to speed. That agency's name is Meyers Enterprises Media Research. The name sounds dry because the company's run by engineers, not salespeople. They use superior research and analytics that drive results with surgical precision. Marketing doesn't have to be a gritty battle in the trenches. Your business can win from the box. Visit their website, mediaresearch.agency, to learn more. It is time for story time here on Kansas Sports Chatter, an opportunity to talk with one of the KSHSAA staff writers. And today we are joined by Andy Brown. And Andy, appreciate you coming back on the show. This time of the year for you, I mean, like I always talk about, like coaches, like it's kind of like that crunch time at the end of the regular season. Like for you, like you kind of feel that excitement too, just in your coverage.
Yeah, it's like I said, I've told people before that my favorite part of my job is covering postseason stuff and just seeing what all unfolds. And, the regular season is just kind of a little build up to that. And we're getting closer to the postseason time for a bunch of different sports, whether it's, swimming, wrestling, basketball, whatever the case. So it's bowling. So it'll be fun next few weeks just to kind of see how it all unfolds.
Well, on that east side of the state, you've seen a lot of really good basketball teams here the last few weeks. Shawnee Mission South, Olathe, I mean, like there's some really good ones there, and you saw a pretty good game.
Yeah, it was a battle of 1 versus 2. It was at Olathe North, and I've done this for over 18 years now, and there has been very few venues and atmospheres that really topped what I saw at Olathe North that night. I mean, that gym was packed to the rafters. Both student sections showed up. It was just a crazy atmosphere. The 2 best teams in 6A squaring off. And the game lived up to it. And Shawnee Mission South got out to a quick start, but Olathe North rallied back and even had the lead late before, Ben Allen hit a big jumper in the final seconds of that one for Shawnee Mission South to keep them undefeated on the year. And really, it was just 2 great teams going blow for blow with each other. And it was an unbelievable matchup. And that's what sports is all about. Just seeing that type of atmosphere, seeing how, student athletes respond, through adversity. And, it had a little bit of everything. So, it was unforgettable. It was an unforgettable game for sure.
What stands out about Shawnee Mission South, and just, whether it's the players or just like what they do that makes them so good?
They're just, they're experienced. They had a great team last year, but, they ran up against a really good Shawnee Mission Northwest team that won their second straight title. And, but they got players like Ben Allen, a big forward on the inside, and Connor Kerrigan, Drake DeBond, Caden Davis. All those guys have a lot of regular season, postseason experience, and they just know how to play together. That they make the extra pass, they do everything on the defensive end. They get on the floor. Everything a coach dreams of, they are. And Coach, Brett McFall does a great job with them and that program. And they for right now they seem to be the team to beat in 6A. You never know how it all unfolds in the postseason, but they just have a little bit of everything. They have inside play, outside shooting, great defense. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out in 6A. But Olathe North proved that they're almost just as good as they are. Then that second half, Sam Simmons, the Olathe North point guard, has willed them to, he had 34 points in that game, and was making big shot after big shot, feeding off the crowd. And they have an awesome team too. So it'll be interesting to see if those two match up again, and how it turns out. But Shawnee Mission South is just a great program.
Bonner Springs, we had Drew Groover on the show a couple weeks ago, and just talking about his program, and they just keep humming right along, Andy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that might say, oh, well, Bonner hasn't played that tough of a schedule. They're undefeated. They're the class of the Frontier League, but they played another ranked team in Piper, which has been a rival for them in the past, but they don't play each other as much anymore since they switched leagues. And it was a game that really wasn't originally on the schedule, but they both teams needed a makeup game to replace a tournament game that got postponed. So they scheduled that one on a Wednesday night and at Bonner, and it was an awesome atmosphere there as well. Both schools were, trading baskets, make big defensive plays, but Bonner, they did a little bit of everything. They hit from the outside. Jaden Jones, a sophomore, was just unbelievable inside. I think he had like 30 points and 10 boards. And it's a Bonner team that's kind of similar to Shawnee Mission South, as they do a little bit the little things. They play defense. They make the extra pass. They just play so well together. They have a lot of pieces that just seem to fit. And Drew Groover does a great job with them. And I think he said he's only in his second or third year with that program. And, they're undefeated for a reason. They're 19-0 in 5A, clearly the best team on the east side of the state right now, record wise. And so, yeah, it was an unbelievable show too. I feel pretty fortunate to have seen two pretty good games the last couple of weeks.
You mentioned, Brent Maycock and Ricky Peterson, they both came on and kind of gave me like some of their best like mid-season tournaments that they like going to, whether it's just the facility or just the atmosphere. But you mentioned like the Olathe North atmosphere for that ball game against Shawnee Mission South. Any other gyms that you've gone to that maybe rival that as far as the atmosphere is concerned?
Honestly, I don't see it as much anymore, just because a lot of the schools I go to, the gyms are just so much bigger now.
Yeah.
The noise just isn't the same. Olathe North's gym is older, is more, close to the floor. Coach McFall told me after the game was over, he's like, even if we see each other out of state, that atmosphere will not be the same as it was there at Olathe North, just because of, the arenas they're going to play in Wichita. If they get that far, it just isn't as conducive to that type of environment as what a small, intimate high school gym is. So not as much, but when I get to the smaller schools down like Southeast Kansas and stuff like that, a lot of them have smaller gyms, and once the band gets playing, it's just a fun atmosphere to be in. So
Andy, appreciate the time.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Cole. I appreciate it.
That is Andy Brown. You can check out his work at KSHSAA.com. SPX Specialized Video Wall Solutions. Your gym needs SPX. Welcome back on the show. It is time to talk some wrestling with our next guest, as Kelly Heincker, the head coach of the Derby High School wrestling program, and joining us. Coach, appreciate you coming on the show. With state wrestling less than 2 weeks away, what's the build-up like this time of the year as you get ready for regionals?
Oh, it's an exciting time, but I think this time of year it's also important to dial it back a little bit and relieve some of that stress and that pressure and just stick to the basics and train as hard as we can. But definitely excited to compete. It's like Christmas every year. It comes around and you start to get those nerves and those excitement, and the community starts to get excited. So we're ready to compete.
You mentioned trying to maybe alleviate some of that pressure. Anything specific that you do during practice or this time of the year to keep things light?
We just try not to change anything. We try not to focus on results or the fact that it's a state tournament. It's just another tournament that we're going to compete in. So we try to have a little bit of fun, but for the most part, just keep it the same.
How much individual work do you get this time of the year? So like one-on-one time with each wrestler that you have, like how much time is spent on that?
Our assistants do a great job this time of year of kind of watching film and game planning and approaching the individuals. But we structure our practice this time of year to where, each drill and what we're working can be modified slightly for each athlete.
You mentioned watching film. Like, what, as a wrestling coach, like what are you looking for when you're watching film? Is it on your wrestlers or opponents? Like, what are you looking for?
I'd say almost entirely ourselves. We're just trying to focus on being the best wrestler we are and fixing little issues that come up and techniques that we're doing to become the best we can. Obviously when you're wrestling somebody that's, is really good at a certain part of the sport, you're going to watch film and identify that and prepare for that in those situations. But for the most part, we're focused on ourselves and just becoming the best wrestlers we can.
Do you spend time, like when you're watching the film, like with the actual individual? So like in like breaking down like certain techniques or certain moments, like in a certain match that, that they need to do better? Like, do you kind of break it down for them?
Oh, we'll watch it ourselves and then let them watch it and then meet together so that we kind of are both coming into it with our own understandings and then meeting together to figure it out together. But yeah, certainly we want to watch it with them. I think sometimes it's best to let them go first. So you're kind of seeing what's in their mind, before it can be, they can change their mind when you start telling them what you see. So it's good to get both perspectives, but yeah, we definitely want to do it together.
Oh, the Derby wrestling program. What were the numbers like this year? Like how many kids do you have out?
Oh, I think we had 110 at the beginning. We're going to finish with about 85. But we're not graduating a lot, and we have a massive middle school group coming up with both boys and girls. We started girls wrestling in middle school a couple years ago, and our numbers are taking off on that end. Our young guys are so excited about the journey and the sport that, typically in most sports, most programs, as they get older, they start to, dwindle out. But we got a big group that's going to stick around. So we expect those numbers to keep climbing. But this year we're right around 90.
Well, as a Derby guy yourself, and obviously been around the program as an athlete, and then now as a coach, number of years as an assistant, your third season as head coach. Like, how have you seen the program grow? Like, what have you seen over the last couple of decades?
Oh man, Coach Ross, when he came in, the culture that he created just exploded the program, numbers wise. And for years, we've had some of the highest numbers. But I think recently, specifically with girls wrestlings, our numbers have, dang near doubled in the last 3-4 years. I think we provide something unique to these kids and they enjoy it. It's hard work. Despite what society might say, these kids love hard work. They love the confidence that comes with it. And they love being a part of a family. So I think something Coach Ross started, when I was in high school, was creating a culture and a family, and kids that appreciate good hard work and using the sport to improve their lives. And I think we've been able to build on that, build on those foundations and grow our numbers even more.
You mentioned Bill Ross. Like, what was it like just, coaching with him, and what did you learn over those years?
Oh, what didn't I learn, I guess? I don't know. That's it. It's a unique question for me because he was my high school coach, and then I was an assistant under him. So in a lot of ways, it's all I really know.
Yeah.
I've had some tremendous coaches, as a kid and in college, and a lot of great network that we've built. But in a lot of regards, everything we do still is directly tied to Coach Ross. And with the success and the character that he did it, why change something that he built so great? So he's taught me everything, all the in-betweens of the sport. There's certainly a lot more to this sport than just the wrestling part of it. So I still talk to him every day. I still call him, once a week and ask him advice on stuff. So I'm still learning from him today.
Well, I mean, for you, like as a wrestler at Derby High School, like what was it like, just the program at that time? Because I know you had a lot of success even on an individual basis in getting to states and succeeding there. But like, what was the program like when you were through it?
Well, the first 2 years of high school, it was, all the kids I grew up with, and we had tons of success. And then we actually hit a little dip. We hit a little rebuild for a couple of years, and people forget that about Coach Ross, that he had to kind of rebuild everything a few years. But growing up as a kid in Derby, and then in high school, and then as a coach, really a lot's changed, but a lot hasn't as well. From the time I was a little kid coming in to watch Coach Eldon Edwards practices, this community loves wrestling, and the tradition is so rich, that, to be honest, not a lot's changed in 40 years. It's still a community that loves and supports wrestling, and it's still a community that has great pride in the state championships that we've won, but also the community members that have come through this program and been better off for it.
Time with Kelly Heincker, the head coach of the Derby High School wrestling team. How year-round is wrestling now? I mean, it's probably been this way for a long time, but, you look at other sports and they have club teams, and I know wrestling kind of has something similar of that nature, but how year-round is this sport, especially for the ones that are truly kind of all in and dedicated to wrestling?
Oh, I'm sure it's like every sport now. There's an opportunity to train 12 months out of the year in Derby. We have, our club does a tremendous job of supporting, K through 12 here. So we have in the spring and the fall and the summer, we have opportunities for freestyle and summer camps. We bring in a bunch of college coaches and wrestlers. Last year we had Wyatt Hendrickson in. So nobody wants kids to be one sport athletes, but everybody wants them training year round, because it is difficult when you're a high level elite wrestler. Everyone else is training. So we try, I think what we try to do is keep our off season not too impactful on their bodies, and not too much stress on their schedules. They need to focus on their sport of the year, but we try to provide and offer opportunities to train to where they can do it with their other sport, not in place of it. But we wrestle 12 months of the year, and we make sure to taper when we need to, and push harder when we need to as well. But just like most sports and most great programs, if you want to train, you have an opportunity to train.
You mentioned Wyatt Hendrickson. You're able to bring him in during one of your summer camps this past summer. Obviously, NCAA's national champion for Oklahoma State and from Newton. Like, what was his message? What did you take from that experience of him being out there?
Oh, wow. I got to coach against him in high school, so it was really unique.
Wow.
Listening to his message and remembering that it wasn't just a bunch of words. I remember when he was living his message. I think the biggest thing these kids in Kansas and in Derby got was they're getting to see somebody from where they're from do the dreams that they have. And all of a sudden those dreams become real. You watch the Olympics, that's on right now, and you see, from New York or Texas or California, and you can't really identify it. But when you see someone in your wrestling gym that you have been to their hometown 40 minutes away, and they had the same experiences in the same tournaments you did when you were 8 years old, all of a sudden you start to believe, oh, okay, like this is real and I can do this. It's going to be hard, and I'm going to have adversity, but if he can do it, then why can't I? So I think his biggest message was just showing kids that it is possible. And if you dream big and you're willing to sacrifice, go for it, because I did it, and I'm from Newton, Kansas. So if you're from Derby, Kansas, get to work and go chase that dream.
All right, so I got to ask, like, when you were coaching against Wyatt at Derby, like, what was your advice for your Derby wrestler when he was facing Wyatt?
Don't get thrown. He's been the same since he was in high school. Don't get thrown. But quick Wyatt story. I don't know if anybody shared it, but, he wasn't always great. His coming out party was a sophomore year at the Newton tournament. And everybody kind of knew who he was at that time, but there was, I think, 5 state champions in that bracket. And he wasn't the one that was expected to even make the finals. I think he beat 3 straight state champs in that tournament. And all of a sudden, all right, we all know who Wyatt is now. And then it was just, don't get launched.
Coach, hey, appreciate the time, and best of luck the rest of the season.
We appreciate you. Thanks for supporting Derby and all of Kansas sports.
You bet. Anytime. This is Kelly Heincker, head coach of the Derby High School wrestling team. And we'll have more of the show right after this.
Power outages don't wait for a convenient time, and neither should you. Right now is the perfect season to invest in a standby generator from Wheatland Electric Cooperative. With low monthly payments and special financing for co-op members, reliable backup power is more affordable than you think. We'll help you survey, install, and finance a Generac standby generator, all with professional installation you can trust. Protect your home, your comfort, and your peace of mind before the next storm hits. Get a free quote today and make life without power a thing of the past. Visit us online or call us to get started today.
The key to a great game is sportsmanship. It is essential to show respect to your opponents, teammates, coaches, and yourself. Playing hard, being fair, and having fun are what sportsmanship is all about. Whether you win or lose, congratulate your team and opponents for their hard work and dedication. Good sportsmanship is about demonstrating integrity, fairness, and respect. Let's show the world what true sportsmanship is all about this season.
Back at it here on Kansas Sports Chatter as we bring in our next guest, and it'll be Gary Davis. He is one of 4 inductees for the 2026 class through the Kansas Shrine Bowl Hall of Fame. Gary, appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm glad to have you on here. Excited about the conversation. For you to get inducted, like, what was the initial reaction? I know it's not your first induction ceremony, but at the same time, like, what was your initial reaction when you found out?
Well, I got the call from Bryce. I was kind of in shock. I was up. My mornings consist of going to the gym for a little while, and then I got a bunch of old guys uptown here that play dominoes. I was up there playing dominoes. When I saw that call come in, I got up from the table and went where I could talk, because they don't ever shut up whenever someone's on the phone. So when I came back, I think I had the look of shock on my face.
How long you been playing dominoes? Are you good?
Oh, since I've been retired.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 years now. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hour morning ritual. We have coffee and cookies, and there's 4 or 5, sometimes 6 guys up there.
Well, what got you into officiating? Like, what inspired you to start officiating? I know you spent time as a coach early on, but what got you inspired to be an official?
Well, when I was coaching football and baseball, and they talked me into keeping the clock for basketball games. So I was always involved with the officials at the scorer's table. And a lot of times, I really liked most of the officials that came in there. But then there was other times when I was thinking, I think I could do a better job than they're doing. So my first officiating was basketball, and I loved it. Just being in front of the crowd and where else can you get an adrenaline rush when you're an older guy and you can't play anymore? That's what got me into it. I just wanted to continue to be involved in sports. And at that time, I thought I'll just do basketball and I'll keep coaching. But then the coaching kind of wore thin after 15 years. And one thing that I can't accept losing. I wasn't a very good loser, so that's kind of what got me into officiating.
What was the learning curve like for you? So once you did want to dive in the early 90s to be an official, like how much did you study and just like trying to learn to be a better official?
Yeah, I tried to watch some of the best guys in the area, and I wasn't in it very long. I was in it about 3 years, and I started going to camps trying to get into college basketball. So I jumped right in, not just studying books, but I was going to camps and trying to get around the guys that were, I was around a lot of guys that were doing D1 and D2, and I just wanted to be there. The problem was I didn't start officiating until I was 33, so it was hard for me to move up very much. So I did college women's basketball for about 10 years. And then I got into college football in the early 2000s, and I could see I wasn't going to move up above JUCO small college level. And it wasn't real fun for me. And I was white hatting in high school, and then in college I was umpiring. And if you know where the umpire is, he's right in the middle of the action. I got knocked over a few times, and I didn't really like it. So I got out of college and just accepted the fact that I was going to be try to get the best crew I could and have the best high school crew I could have.
Gary Davis, one of 4 inductees for the Kansas Shrine Bowl Hall of Fame that'll be inducted May 6th during a ceremony in Lawrence, then honored again June 27th during the Shrine Bowl in Emporia. All right, 19 games that you have officiated through the Kansas Shrine Bowl, which is in the bios mentions that, is the most by any official. Like, how much do you enjoy just being at the Shrine Bowl and then obviously getting to do it 19 times is remarkable?
Well, obviously I kept coming back. The very first one I did was in Emporia. And just from the very beginning, the national anthem played, and it was a big crowd. And I always wanted to be in big-time sports. I just wasn't a good enough athlete to be in big-time sports. So the national anthem played, helicopters flew over the top of the stadium, and the chills run down your back. And I thought, this is where I want to be. I want to keep doing this. Even though it's a donation, to me, that was about as big as I was going to get. You know what I mean? So, and the other part of it is when B.J. Harris took over in 2018, I called him and I said, I'd like to work one more Shrine Bowl. I like to white hat because it's at Pitt State, which is my alma mater. He said, how about you just take over coordinating the officials, because I'm in over my head here. He said, I feel like I'm learning to fly in the air. If you take over coordinating officials for me, it'd be a big help. And I said, I'd love to do that. That way, when I can't officiate anymore, then I can coordinate. But as a Shrine Bowl crew, you have 15 guys, and the 15th guy is a media coordinator. I ended up doing that quite a few times because no one wants to do it. So I'd coordinate the officials, and then I'd be the media coordinator. And then in 2022, I decided I wanted to white hat one more. So out to Hayes, I white hatted one. And the other thing I wanted to mention was the meeting of the honorary captains, the little kids that are, the first one I really remember was had the brittle bone disease. She was 10 years old, and she had the smile that was big as you can imagine. And plus, she was in the gifted program in school, and she had 27 broken bones. And then in 2022, when I met that little girl, and I was teaching her to flip the coin for the honorary coin flip, and she had a personality and a smile that would just melt your heart. And when she got out of her wheelchair for the coin flip and got on a walker and walked to the midfield, and there was 8,000 people cheering her on, and her smile was from ear to ear.
That's awesome.
Those are the kinds of things that keep bringing you back.
That's awesome. For, officiating for you, because there's a lot of now young guys and gals that are getting into it. And I don't know if anyone, seeks you for advice, but like what advice would you give, young officials that are getting involved, just to become better?
Oh, just stick with it and don't listen to the crowd. You're talking about young officials. I've tried to bring in young officials, and I've been fairly successful with bringing in some young guys. In 2023, I had a really good crew, and we worked the state 4A championship in Topeka. And my crew was mostly around the 40-year-old age, and I was in my 60s. And one of the guys wanted to take over as referee, and I thought this is a good time for me to get out. So I got out. It wasn't very long, and there was a young guy approached me and said, let's start a young crew. So I said, I'll do that for 1 year, and you can take it over. So I had this crew, and I had two 21-year-olds, an 18-year-old, and a 19-year-old. And we worked a full varsity schedule, and that was a good experience.
Hey, Gary, appreciate your time. Again, congratulations on being inducted, and enjoy the ceremony coming up in May.
Hey, thank you.
That is Gary Davis, one of the 4 inductees for the Kansas Shrine Bowl Hall of Fame, and again will be honored May 6th in Lawrence during the ceremony, and then during the Shrine Bowl itself on June 27th in Emporia. Are you looking for a new way to promote your business or organization? Do you want to get your message out to a statewide audience that loves high school sports in both urban and rural areas? Kansas Sports Chatter has advertising opportunities from commercials, sponsoring specific guests, product placements, and even a premier sponsorship. Let Kansas Sports Chatter promote your brand. Contact ksportschatter@gmail.com for more advertising details. That's ksportschatter@gmail.com. Come join the chatter. Getting back at it here on Kansas Sports Chatter as we get to talk some, everything going on around the Topeka area, some of the highlights as Liam Keating will be joining us here with the Topeka Capital Journal. Hey, Liam, appreciate it. I mean, I know you were telling me like this is like your time of the year. Like how excited are you for this time of the year?
This is my favorite time, Cole. Thanks for having me on the show. Basketball is my favorite. The stories are endless, and we got some really good teams and players here in the capital city and in Northeast Kansas. So it's a really fun time to be covering high school basketball.
Well, start out with one of the stories that you guys came out, a really good published episode or story from you was about Bob Wells, Shawnee Heights girls basketball coach. Retirement is closing in.
Yeah, he's a legend in this part. 25 years he's been coaching girls high school basketball at Shawnee Heights. He's been to the state tournament 10 times. Was a state runner-up during his tenure as well. When you think of high school basketball in Shawnee County and in Topeka, Bob Wells is up there as one of the legends of the game. And when I got to interview him, he told me a really cool anecdote that he only wanted to take this job. This was in 2000. If Shawnee Heights girls team could have their own time in the weight room by themselves. So at the time that they were sharing moments with the boys team or other male athletes, he wanted a dedicated time with just his girls basketball team in the weight room. And it still happens to this day, all in the summertime and during the regular season. The Shawnee Heights girls basketball team has their own time lifting weights. And so kind of a pioneer when this happened about 25 years ago, and which is now pretty standard amongst all high school programs. But at the time, that was new for a lot of high schools, especially weightlifting programs. So he's going to retire at the end of the season. He's also going to be retiring from teaching as well. And his team is really good this year. They are leading the United Kansas Conference, and they're looking to get back in the state tournament for the first time in over 10 years. KK Emmett is their star guard, and Pamela Carter is a really good inside threat. Both players broke 1,000 points on Tuesday. And so these two are really key players that could, push for a state tournament run. And it could be all storybook ending for Bob Wells if things go well for his Thunderbirds.
Yeah, hopefully they can send him out on a good note there for Bob Wells on a heck of a career. Elsewhere in Topeka, Topeka West, the boys basketball team, that's been a fun one to watch.
Yeah, it's really good. They had won the TIT, the Topeka Invitational Tournament, a few weeks ago, and they are amazing, led by Christian Olsaker, excuse me. And he's a McPherson guy, and so he loves high tempo, fast offense, fast defense. And that's the way his team plays. They're long, athletic, will pressure the ball the entire game, forcing turnovers, leading to dunks, three-pointers, really entertaining product to watch. And he emulates it off of his McPherson days, but also he watched a little bit of Highland Park over the past couple of years, another Topeka school who played a really similar style. And so he's taken a little bit of flavor from both programs and molded it into his own team. Locke Duncan, he's a 6'5", maybe a little bit taller point guard who leads the team. And his length, athleticism is huge, along with some really good guard play. Gad Magunga has been having his best basketball season. He's a guard as well. And then if just going inside, Prince Lassiter, he's a junior, star tight end for the football team at Topeka West, but he's really taken off. So it's been a really good balance, 3-point shooting, defense, and then they can pound it inside to Prince Lassiter. So they have the makings of a state championship caliber team, and they're really fun to watch, but they aren't leading the United Kansas Conference at the moment. That's Seaman boys, who are really good as well. They played Shawnee Heights earlier this week, and they were trailing Shawnee Heights going into the fourth quarter. In star guard Kayvon Bonner, he erupted 18 points in the fourth quarter. 16 of those points came straight on his own, and he was on the absolute heater. It was crazy. He shot a three-pointer from NBA range, and he was literally like, I was just in the zone. I couldn't miss. He's going to Rockers next year to play college basketball, so he's another really fun talent. Seaman's got a really good team too. Landon Wiltz, another really good guard to watch. So they've got state tournament caliber team and aspirations this year as well. So those are two of the teams at the top of the United Kansas Conference on the boys team. Seaman just ahead of Topeka West. But these two teams have, more goals than just winning a conference championship at the moment.
Liam Keating joining us here with the Topeka Capital Journal. Any other area schools that have been really fun to follow? I know Silver Lake girls has been really impressive just the last few years, but especially this year.
Yeah, another year of Silver Lake girls basketball. They're really good again. Their guard, Kaylin Haney, just broke the school record for most assists in her career. That came a few weeks ago. She's over 1,000 points as well. Just goes to show how long she's been playing at a varsity level and at a high level. She's going to Fort Hays State next year. Another incredible guard. And Kyle Porter, one of the best head coaches, not just in girls basketball, but across all high school basketball in the state. He's incredible at drawing up plays and getting his players in the right moments. So Silver Lake, they're number one in Class 3A at the moment. And another, when it comes to Silver Lake basketball, it's state title or bust, and they thrive with those expectations. So they're another really fun team that has, dreams and goals of doing something big in March.
Who else you got out there that has been fun just to kind of write about?
Yeah, sure. Basketball's pretty good here.
Yeah, no kidding. Keep going.
Pretty amazing. Care Paravel is another great story. Really, really, really small private Christian Latin school in downtown Topeka. They just finished their Flint Hills League undefeated, 10-0. They won the conference regular season tournament, or regular season for the first time in school history. They also won their conference tournament, which was a mid-season tournament down in Emporia across against their conference teams. So they're in Class 2A, and they're ranked for the first time in school history as well. They're a really, really fun team to watch. Chip Kiefer, he's in his third year as the head coach. And so another, pretty cool story out of a really small school that is shining right now at the 2A level.
Hey, Liam, appreciate it. If people need to follow you, where do they need to go to find all your work?
You can find me on X at Liam Keating 7. Got all my stories I published there, videos and stuff. And then we get photo galleries from our great photographer, Everett Nelson, videos, and my feature stories on our website, the Capital Journal's website, cjonline.com.
Liam, appreciate it. Have fun during one of your most fun times of the year.
It's the best. Thanks, Cole. Appreciate it, man.
That is Liam Keating with the Topeka Capital Journal. We'll have more of the show right after this.
Whether it's a Friday night football game or a Saturday Scholars Bowl tournament, There are many people behind the scenes to make these activities function. The Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Student Advisory Team would like to thank all those who make these events happen for our students. Without school administrators, event workers, custodians, officials, transportation personnel, and office staff, these events would not be possible. Your hard work and dedication allow students throughout the state to participate in the activities that they love.
Welcome back on Kansas Sports Chatter. It's time now for our next level talent segment, an opportunity to talk to former Kansas high school athletes that are now competing at a college or university. And our guest today is Taryn Side. She is a member of the Kansas State University women's basketball team and from Phillipsburg High School. Hey, Taryn, appreciate you coming on the show. What's life like in Manhattan this time of the year?
Hey, thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun. We're getting in the grind of the Big 12, which is what you look forward to as a player. So it's a fun time right now.
What was making that move from Phillipsburg to Manhattan like? Just even kind of adjusting to the new town. What was that like 3 years ago?
Yeah, I think I've came to Manhattan a lot growing up with being a K-State fan. So coming to Manhattan was a place I was familiar with, but on the basketball court, it definitely took some time adjusting to get ready for this level. I think playing AAU in the summer with Missouri Phenom helped me kind of prepare for it, but getting here is another level on top of that.
You mentioned growing up, going to games at K-State. So what else went into your recruiting process and eventually choosing the Wildcats?
Yeah, I think K-State was always going to be my choice. Like I said, I grew up a K-State fan, coming to games, knowing a lot of the players, going to camps. And I think when you do that and already have relationships built with the coaches and players, it's hard not to come here. So like I said, just familiar with it, wanted to be close to home and just enjoyed learning about the staff. So, yeah.
I guess it's one thing to, get recruited and then make your commitment, but then actually stepping on campus, knowing that you're a K-State, basketball player. What was that feeling like at your freshman year?
Yeah, I remember my first game. I was so nervous. Just when I ran out of the tunnel, goosebumps all over my arms. Just kind of a surreal moment. Like, wow, I made it, but so thankful for all the fans that come support us, and just there's a lot of people that from Phillipsburg that come to every single game here, and I'm so thankful for the community I grew up in.
Yeah, what is that cheering section like from Phillipsburg? Do they have their own corner of navy and gold? What's the section like?
They're kind of spirit around the gym, but like I said, a lot of Phillipsburg fans, I see them every game, even during the week. They travel the 3 hours on a busy night and get home late. And I know not a lot of people have that, and communities support their players like Phillipsburg does.
What were the crowds like, even at your games in Phillipsburg, especially your junior and senior year, as you continue to put up those numbers? What were some of those crowds like?
Yeah, I think growing up in a small town, the sports are kind of what people look forward to. A lot of the times the games were full. I remember in eighth grade, we had 2 gyms at our high school, and one's quite a bit smaller than the other, but we were playing a rivalry town, and they had to move our game to the big gym because they knew not everyone would be able to fit in the smaller one. So yeah, just things like that, the support the community shows you, that's what they look forward to every night.
You mentioned some of the rivals there in the MCL. Who stood out to you? Was it Norton? Was it Smith Center? Who stood out?
Yeah, those two right there, Norton and Smith Center, were always kind of at the top of the list. I think TMP out of Hayes, they were always good in every sport. So I'd say those 3 were kind of who we looked forward to even more.
Able to get to that state tournament your senior year, ended up with that 3rd place finish. What was that experience like, just making it to state?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think that whole year we felt really confident with what we could do. Obviously, I think we felt like we let the Cheney game get away from us, and we were kind of disappointed in that. But I was glad that we bounced back the next day and finished with a third place and able to bring some hardware home. We definitely hoped and thought it was going to be the first place, but still a good season with a lot of my best friends, and those are like moments I cherish forever.
Playing in high school, I mean, especially when you became an upperclassman, like that scouting report was out, as far as, trying to shut you down. What was it like going into games where you knew opponents, like their main scouting report was trying to, take you away from the game?
Yeah, I think in high school, I don't know, I had the same mentality every game, and that's just to do whatever I can to help the team win. I was thankful to have teammates who, like Heather Skipper, who could go get buckets too, and just I think our team was really unselfish in high school, and that's what helped us win. We were kind of quick, feisty, not very big, but we like to press a lot and just get easy buckets from there. But yeah, like I said, a lot of my best friends growing up were able to play together, and when you have a close bond off the court, I think it's easy to play well on the court together.
Remember covering games, and your dad, Keith, longtime coach there at Phillipsburg High School for the boys. What was it like just having I know it didn't coach you necessarily in high school, but at the same time, just having a dad that was coaching there at Phillipsburg?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, when my brothers were in high school, I went to all of their games and just watching. I think having coaches as parents is, you know how it goes. They're always going to kind of give me advice, which I want. And that's like, I want to know what I did wrong, what I could have done better. So I'm thankful for their support and their feedback.
Well, and again, sticking with the family, like I also remember like covering games like with your brothers and Ty and Trey. Like, what was it like growing up? Like, what was the competition like, especially on the hard court with you three?
Yeah, I think everything we did was competitive, whether it be basketball, cards, I don't know, board games, everything that you can think of. It was such a competition between us three, and I think my Ty, the middle child, he always said growing up, like, he was going to be the reason that I would make it to this level, and he still takes credit for it, but I think there is truth behind it in that he challenged me in every way. He never took it easy on me. My oldest brother, he was a little nicer to me, but yeah, lots of competition, which made it fun, and I think that stems from my parents' competitiveness that kind of went down to us three.
At what point were you able to beat your brothers in a game?
I don't know. Not really ever, if I'm being honest.
Once you
Maybe
got to
in high school.
In high school? Okay, there you go. So, like, once you got to K-State, what was that adjustment like? I mean, because you played right away, and I think you played every game your freshman season. What was that experience like, and just trying to adjust to that college game?
Yeah, I think it definitely took me time to adjust to the level and just having confidence in where I was. I think coming in, I didn't really have any expectations. I just wanted to come in and play and do what the coaches asked of me, and whether my role was to pass the ball, shoot open shots, whatever, defend. I just wanted to do whatever I could to help the team.
Do you remember your first bucket and what it was?
I actually don't.
No? Okay. Making your first career start, though, this year when the season started, what was that like?
Just a lot of excitement. I knew when I came in, the starting five was pretty much already built. So I think just, staying the course and grinding it out. A lot of people, it's easy to jump ship when things don't go your way, but I think I was able to grow a lot those first 2 years and help me get to this level now.
You had a game earlier this year. I was looking at your stats. I mean, I think you were 8 for 12 from outside against Columbia in November and ended up with a career high 30 points. Like, at what point during that game did you realize, okay, yeah, this is a pretty hot night?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, once you hit 1 or 2 threes, the basket just seems a little bit bigger than what it is. My teammate, Gina, does a really good job of just passing the ball right where I need it, right on time. which is a very good strength of hers that oftentimes gets overlooked. I think my teammates, coaches trusting me, they just give me a lot of confidence to go out there and let it fly.
And something you've done really well throughout your career. Like, when did you develop into that outside shooting threat? Like, has that always been part of your game?
Yeah, I would say I think I made my first 3 ever when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. I was so excited and we're like jumping up and down during the game. But I think ever since then, that's something I worked a lot on, is just getting up a lot of shots. In high school, I remember my dad always telling me that I need to shoot from further back and develop a deep range so that, it'll make it easier in college. So yeah, I think just I grew up that way.
Yeah, I mean, I know you kind of touched on, what you've learned when you're growing up, but anything that stands out in your time in Phillipsburg playing for the Panthers that's kind of translated nicely to the success you're having now in college?
I think one thing is just like taking what the defense gives me and knowing that not every game is going to look the same, and you still have to find ways to contribute, even if you aren't scoring the ball, like getting your teammates open and defending, like getting some steals and easy buckets, just, trying to figure out ways to still contribute without when, shots aren't falling.
Taryn, appreciate your time, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is Taryn Sides, member of the Kansas State women's basketball team and out of Phillipsburg High School for our next level talents. Are you a person that's always on the go? You can still easily keep up with Kansas Sports Chatter with the audio podcast. Hear each episode on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to follow the Kansas Sports Chatter podcast. Thanks again to all of our guests coming on the show. You make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. You can help out the show there. Also, follow us along on social media. Interact as much as possible. We like to hear from you to see what we can do better. And also any suggestions that you want to hear or see on the show. You can check us out on all the social media platforms for Kansas Sports Chatter. Episodes come out Tuesday and Thursday. We'll talk to you again on Thursday.